You're listening to Rocket Night.
Are you ready? Hey, tonight I'm gonna take you on a little trip. We're going down south by the mighty Mississippi. I'm gonna take you to a place where lights never dim. Bring your mother, your brother, and your best friend. I'm gonna show you where they dance out in the street. They'll tell you all about your body heat. Not gonna talk about it, just gonna do it. Get on down, if you feel up good. Get on down.
I actually got introduced to your music about a month ago or so.
Really?
And he gave me the Creatures album, and I really like it.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that, I really do. And it's funny, I burned a CD of it, and I'll be listening to it, let's say when I'm making dinner or whatever. And some of the songs almost sound like British rock,
Yeah,
like
that's
from
what
the
I was going
60s. What do you
That's
think?
what I was going for.
You were going for that then?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Brit rock and Brit pop, and like especially the drum sounds.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of the way they sound.
Because I looked at some reviews and nobody ever said that about your music, but to me it's, well, maybe because I'm a Brit rock person. The first song, Are You Ready to Go? It almost sounds like Badfinger in the beginning.
Yeah. That's awesome.
No one has probably told you that, but I thought, my God, this is like the beginning of some Badfinger music, which is great, good, solid 70s British rock. And some of the stuff sounds 90s grunge, like your Chicago's. It's
Yeah.
what's it called? Jane's Addiction.
Yeah.
And I like that. And what I like too is harmonies. It's so refreshing to hear
Oh, thank you.
real harmonies. I guess, who are you harmonizing with? Which musician in the band?
Our bass player Max normally.
You guys sound great together. Nowadays, it seems everybody's using electronic harmonies, fake. You know what I mean? It's nice to hear real singing.
Yeah, and we did use some synths on the album, but most of it really is just us, cranking it out.
It's real.
Yeah.
You guys have been at it for some time. I see you formed in 2008.
Yes, and I started the band actually in 2007.
Okay.
And found Matt in 2008, and then we played some shows and we started touring around. And in 2012, we found Josh, who's our guitar player.
Okay.
Or he found us, and then in 2013 we found our bass player Max.
Okay.
And we've kind of just been going
Well,
ever since.
You have been on a roll, especially 2014. I'm looking, 2013 too. You were on Glee?
Yeah, that was funny. I was in the first episode after Corey, whatever his name was, died.
Oh yeah, I remember when he died. It was this summertime, yeah.
And it was interesting, man. Those kids are interesting. I was on it. I was basically playing guitar in the back while they were singing and doing stuff.
Okay, and I guess you were on the Vans Warped tour in 2014?
Yes, that was a lot of fun, actually. We did the Vans Warped tour. We were on the Kevin Says stage, and we played in front of hundreds of people every day. Mm-hmm. And it was boot camp.
What cities did you go to?
Oh, we did Houston, we did Dallas, we did San Antonio, we did Albuquerque, Phoenix. What else did we do? We did Mountain View. We did Los Angeles. What else did we do? We did one more. We did another one. I can't exactly remember which one it was, but we did another one. Ventura. We did Ventura.
Mm-hmm. What's that like, being on the road touring like that, and you're with a lot of bands, a lot of people? What? Tell me about your experience.
It's a lot of fun. It smells.
It smells. What? Because you guys don't bathe, or?
Well, I mean, we bathe, but like the way it goes is like that tour is built for bands with buses, because we get there at like 6 a.m, and then we're set up by like 10 a.m. Fans come in at 11, and it goes until like 8, and then fans leave around 9, and then we have like business stuff we have to do until about midnight, and then there's a barbecue usually, and then we have to drive 6 hours to the next city. So there's just about no time for like, hey, let's go and chill at a hotel.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's summertime, so it's pretty hot, and you're probably...
Oh, it was like 112 degrees in some places. It was
wow.
Pretty intense. It's pretty gnarly.
So you get pretty ripe.
Yeah, and like us and about 100 other bands.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't have a tour bus, you were just traveling with a van?
Yeah, we have a Sprinter, and it's coached out. It's really cool, but it's definitely not a bus, but it gets us where we want to go, and we certainly get better fuel economy than a bus.
So do you have to set up your own equipment and everything, or do you have people to help you with that?
We have crew every tour. I'll tell you though, I kind of prefer to set up my own stuff because I built the rigs. I'm an engineer, so that's what I do. I built the rig, so I kind of like to, make sure everything's going where it's supposed to go. But we have good crew, and I trust them, and they can do it all.
Being on Vans Warped, you got obviously a lot of exposure.
Oh yeah.
And when do you have time? I mean, here you were touring and all this. When did you have time to write Creatures?
Oh, well, that kind of just happened. Like, how Creatures got written was, after we got home from the road, we had some time off, and we had basically just the time to sit down, and I had been doing the studio that I work in, and doing since, like, most of the album was recorded before we went into the recording studio, and I just copied my sessions, my Pro Tools sessions, over to the engineer, and we did the live guitars and live drums there, but most of the vocals were done, most of the most of the synths were done, and some of the guitars were even done. It was kind of an easy process. So the writing kind of happened over the course of a year and a quarter, and then we went in the studio and we banged it out in a week.
You do most of the songwriting, or do you all write together?
I have done most of the songwriting historically, but I mean that has no bearing on the competency of the other members of the band. They're excellent songwriters. It just has happened that I've been the one who's come up with the right songs at the right times most of the time.
So by day you're a sound engineer? Is that kind of like your day job type of thing?
By night I'm Batman, yes.
With the cape. I was watching a lot of your videos online. You are quite charismatic. You really have the audience in your hands. A lot of participation going on with that. What's it feel like being up there on stage?
It's kind of like a blur. You get up there and like I'm present, but I'm not present. Like I'm so into it that nothing else is really going on. Like I could probably have a broken foot and not even notice it. And I'm gonna knock on wood for that one.
You're like in a trance.
Yeah, it's just like we walk up there. Like there's video. We just did this show like a week and a half ago up in Washington State for there were like 1,500, 2,000 kids there for us, and we walked out, and it just went crazy. And from that moment on, it's just like, I'm glad they filmed it, because a lot of it, I was just like in the zone for it.
I call it being in the zone too. I didn't know other people called it. It's almost like that euphoric state that you're in when you're playing, and you just are not aware of anything.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
like going to a party and being drunk and asking people after what happened.
That's funny.
That type of thing. I noticed you just kind of toured, looked like Washington, and you're going to be doing what, the Midwest?
Yeah, we're gonna do we're gonna be out all of like October, November, but we're leaving this Wednesday to do a big festival in Madison, Wisconsin.
I saw that.
It's called Taste of Madison, and we're gonna set it up right in front of the state capitol. And the state capitol of Wisconsin is different. Like it's like it's a quad structure. You know how the normal building has like there's a rotunda. And
Yeah.
This one has 4. It's like rotunda and then one like that. And they set up stages right in front of it, and they pack in thousands of people. And
Oh, wow.
So we get to face the cat. It's like picturesque. Like it's great.
I didn't know they had festivals near government buildings.
I thought that was illegal too, but I guess not.
Yeah, noise ordinances and stuff like that. When are you going to make it to the East Coast or the South? Any plans for that? I'm in Florida
As soon as possible.
Yeah.
Hey, you're in Tampa, right?
Yeah, I'm in Tampa.
Okay. We've done St. Petersburg. We did Janice Live.
Did you really?
Janice Landing. Yeah.
I take photos there a lot.
You probably we played with a band called Candlebox. If you were there for that show, you took photos of us.
I missed that one probably, but I do know Candlebox. I wish I could have seen you guys. It would have been great. Come on back to Janice Live. It's a good venue, actually.
Yeah, it is. We had so much fun.
Good stage.
The East Coast is an interesting market. It's really far. Like, we're on the West Coast. It's really far away from us. So it's like, to get there, we have to tour through the Midwest first to kind of like go and like make money enough to go to the East Coast and do that. So it'll probably happen sometime this year.
Well, what you do is you make your way to Houston, and then you go through, New Orleans, and you hit everything along the way. I-10 there.
And all those things.
Yeah, I know touring is expensive. Have you guys ever been up to Canada?
Absolutely.
Have you been up to Canada?
No. No, I'm not allowed in Canada.
Okay.
No, we just haven't made it up there. It's like Canada's one of those. It's so close, but it's so far. Like our radio stations don't reach there, and like we're on the radio in the United States, but like as far as Canada, like we don't exist, I guess. So it's like we would need to go and get some exposure there, I suppose.
There's actually a lot of metal bands that I've met and interviewed that are from Canada. I think because it's so cold and snowing all the time, they sit in their basement and play rock music.
That's funny.
Yeah. They're kind of isolated, and there's actually a lot of good musicians that come from up there.
Yeah, sure.
Your style, do you call it California style, or, how do you describe your genre, really?
California roll?
Yeah.
No, we kind of just do whatever we want to do as far as music. We're doing, our guitar player was over at the studio yesterday, and we did some, acoustic Plain White T's type stuff. And then the other day I was writing, metal, and I don't think we have a style. I think we kind of just do what we want to do, and if people like it, great. And if people don't like it, well, who cares?
I know.
Just keep doing it.
I kind of got that feeling because each song has a different feel. Some of it's really hard rock.
Yeah.
Like Chicago, but some of it is more kind of retro feel, melodic.
Wait, almost.
Yeah. And when you grew up, what did you listen to?
I listened to a lot of Beatles. I listened to a lot of Green Day. I listened to a lot of Jimi Hendrix, the classic stuff. And you know what? I love the band Oasis. I don't care what people say about them.
I like them too.
I think that they're fantastic, and so I've been getting into them again a lot more recently. So I suppose that I've been influenced by them. But really anything you put anything on, I'll sit back and listen to it and jam out and be on the computer and eat in and out, and that's what I do.
Your parents, did they influence you? They probably played a lot of that music, the older music, around the house.
Oh yeah, I got some crazy cool parents. They're retired radio DJs.
Oh so my goodness, how lucky is that?
Yeah. Well, they both have dead air reflexes, which is kind of fun. But a marriage with 2 dead air reflexes.
Oh,
that's That's interesting. But yeah, they put on a lot of music, and I got to experience what they talked about, and I got to hear their stories about being on the radio and hearing about when Elton John came into the station, KLOS or whatever, and that was cool. So I was kind of spoiled in terms of rock and roll.
You have a really good voice. When did you discover that you had a voice?
Oh, I was singing in the shower a couple weeks ago, and when I was a little kid, people noticed that I could sing, and I wasn't a terribly good student in grade school. So it was the thing that when people found out I could sing, I was accepted, and that was weird. But I just kept doing it, and I definitely don't have a traditional voice. It's kind of just like there, and it's interesting, and
I like
it has an interesting tone. But I appreciate that, and it's very nice of you to say. I just kind of get up there and close my eyes and start yelling out words.
When you write a song, do you have kind of a theme in mind, or it just comes to you?
Sometimes, I'll tell you the truth, I haven't had very good luck with writing to themes, unless I'm writing, sometimes I get the opportunity to write for, a television placement or whatever, but, and then that's easy, they tell me we want a minute and a half of something sad, but exciting, but, no, I haven't had the best of luck with writing, I'm going to write a song about blah, blah, blah. Right. Most of the time, it's about something for sure, but it's about something subconscious that's going on in my mind that I'm processing. And it kind of just happens, and it makes its way into multiple songs. But it's like a particular idea will be in my head, a particular thought or a particular set of thoughts will be going on for a couple weeks or whatever, and a collection of songs will pick up the different perspectives. It's almost like having multiple personality disorder. I think that might be schizophrenic.
Well, the title Creatures, where did that come from? I know there's a song called that, but...
I was walking out of a meeting, and I just heard in my head, I was like, creatures in the sky, watches this sky, and I was like, this is weird. I want to write a song about this. And so I put it in there, and you know what? That song is ballsy. That song is not a typical song. It doesn't follow a typical structure. It doesn't have typical aspects in it. And that's what I like. I don't want to write everything everybody else is writing. I mean, I can. I have the ability to, and that's what I do when I'm not writing for the band. Is I write for television placements when I can and stuff like that. So that's fairly. But I like the stuff that we do. I like to have it be weird.
Yeah. So you have kind of an unorthodox streak. Some of the reviews said that Cage the Elephant, that your band kind of sounds like Cage the Elephant. What do you think?
I have no idea. If we do, then good for us, and if we don't, then good for us too. I think that we sound like us. Yeah. And that's cool. But if people are comparing us to Cage the Elephant, I mean, that's cool too.
That's just what I read. It's funny how people kind of try to typecast people, because you're actually all over the board. You have a lot of different styles within that album, actually.
Yeah, I love reviews. I also love haters. I think that they're great, and I love it. It makes me smile. Oh yeah, it makes me giggle. I love it. But we've got a lot of reviews saying we sound like this, or we sound like that, or we sound good, or we sound bad, or whatever it is. And you know what? It's all attention.
That's true.
All it is. It's all attention, and it's all the same. And at the end of the day, I'll tell you what we sound like. We sound like 2 guitars, a bass, drums, couple vocals, and some synthesizers. That's what we sound like. Everybody
sounds like somebody in the past, right?
Everybody sounds like somebody.
Yeah,
that's true. It'd be funny if somebody was like, "You sound like Greek chamber music."
Yeah, chanting.
Chanting.
Well, actually, some of the songs to me sounded like Fastball. The band Fastball.
That's fun.
They were big in the 90s.
That's great.
I really liked Fastball. They're from Texas, and I thought that was
Yeah.
what label are you on?
You know what? We are independent, but we have distribution through Sony Red. So if like people want us in a certain market, we can move our product quickly to that market. But I'm happy. Like we're independent. We can do it on our own. You know, we have the means to do it on our own just because we work our asses off when we're home. And
well, that means creatively you have control, right?
yeah, which is nice. I mean, if there was a label, like sure, there'd be some big money behind it. Maybe, you know, you never know. Sometimes that doesn't necessarily happen for people when they get signed to labels. But you know what though? If there was a label, I'd be happy there was a label. And now that there's not a label, I'm happy there's not a label.
Well, they sometimes tell you what to write or what kind of image. I mean, there's a lot of strings attached, I think.
Yeah, you know, and I've been there. Like about a year ago, I had a chance to sit in Clive Davis's office in Midtown Manhattan with him in the Sony building, and he like put on our CD and listened to a bunch of music, and he gave me some good critiques. But at the end of the day, it's just like whatever. It's just a pair of ears. Everybody's just a pair of ears. I'll tell you what, like if we did have a label and we were signed to a contract, we would honor the stipulations of that contract. And you know, I'm not one of those people that's you know what I am is I'm the type of person where I like to deal with the circumstances that we're given. Like right now, we have a certain set of circumstances, and it's really convenient for a couple of things. It's really convenient for artistic freedom, and you know our own creative license, but it's inconvenient because we don't always get to compete. Sometimes we do, but with the huge artists. If we had a label, and it would be really convenient because we would be able to compete with huge artists, but maybe we wouldn't have so much creative freedom. So it's give and take. It's all a matter of what are we doing this for and what's going on right now. And if there's a certain set of conditions at the moment, then that's fine. Let's deal with those. And if they change, that's fine too.
It's funny what you're bringing up. What we're talking about is music is a business, and it's really changed through the years. I personally think it's a lot more difficult today to make it because it's so corporate. What do you think are some of the bad things and good things about being a musician today?
You know, I'm not going to say a single bad thing about it. There's nothing bad. It's just confusing. I used to be a person who would complain a lot about it until I realized there's no problems here. Here's what's good about the music industry, and here's what seems to be my perspective, is that it's exciting because there's no one set way to do it anymore. Ergo, like the age of the record store, like there was a time when to be listened to on mass market meant that an artist had to be signed to a label that had access to the record store, and that is not the case. There's the internet and there's iTunes, and anybody can be heard by anything at any time, and so, you know, it's exciting because, there's no one set way to do it. There's a bunch of different ways to make it. There's a bunch of different ways. Like, independent bands can do it on their own and get big followings and move up. And the record companies are still there, and they're still doing well, actually. And what they do is they basically pick up the slack when the artist gets to a point where they're big, but they can't take it to the next level because it requires millions of dollars to push to get international or wherever they're trying to go. Then that's where the record labels step in. So. But, you know, I think that we were spoiled, frankly, artists were spoiled because there was a lot of people getting signed, especially in the 80s and the 90s, and record companies would just throw millions of dollars at them after one or two shows. And, you know what, that's spoiled right there. I'm happy that it's not like that anymore because, you know, I've had a chance to grow. And by touring the country and doing it all on our own and being broke and still making it happen. And I mean, our next show, we're going to have to drive 1,990 miles.
Wow. That's a lot.
And back. And, you know, we hustle and we make it happen. And you know what? We're going to grow and learn. And we're going to be better people for it. If we had someone just throwing millions of dollars at us and we could just ride in limos and private jets all day, I might not be the same person I am today.
Well, you sound pretty grounded.
No.
No?
People around me that tell me that I need to do things, and it's fine.
Well, as a musician, what would be a typical day for you? I mean, what's your routine?
A typical day is I wake up, make a few phone calls. I take care of some band business. I go in the studio. And then I go hang out with my friends at night. It's kind of a good deal I got going.
As far as hobbies and stuff, I mean, do you just sit around and do music-oriented stuff, or what are things that you like to do in your daily life?
Oh, what do I do? I'm an avid amateur cooker.
Oh, okay.
I cook food, and I am learning how to fly airplanes.
Well, that's pretty unique. There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Well,
small little planes. They get battered around by turbulence. It's scary up there, but it's fun.
Well, you could fly the band, but you got to be careful. Think of Leonard Skinner and.
Yeah,
be
four
careful.
musicians in a plane. That sounds like it's a death trap right there.
Yeah, Buddy Holly and yeah, a lot of people. You got to be real careful with that.
Yeah.
With that type of thing. Do you paint or do any other artistic endeavors?
I don't paint. I just finished writing a script with the guy I write with for a pilot. So I do that.
Oh, okay.
And do a bunch of creative writing, but I'm more of a like a literary artist, I guess is how you would put it, rather than a visual artist. And it's just easy for me to write things down.
Just out of curiosity, do you have an academic background in writing, or you just started doing it on your own?
You know, I didn't even apply to college. Like I went to this music school and I told them what I wanted to do, and I was thinking about applying there. Oh God, years ago now. And they were like, "Why don't you just take the money that you were going to spend here and go on the road?" And so I was just like, "Oh, screw it! I'm not going to apply anywhere." I probably could have gotten in places. I graduated from high school with honors. I don't know why, but I did. And but like, I just kind of left. So no, I have no educational background in writing, and I am definitely not highly educated. I'm high school educated musician who happened to just say, screw it, I'm not going to sit around and get a minimum wage job. I'm going to go out and I'm going to test my luck, being uncomfortable, and eat. Can I say shit?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
And eating shit all over the country for a few years, and we'll see what happens.
Nobody ever makes it without taking risks, and it takes guts and nerves and balls to take risks. And it's kind of cool. At least you weren't just sitting around dreaming. You actually said, "Let's just do it." And
yeah, that's cool.
And you don't have loans, college loans, to deal with.
On stage, there are 4 beards, 8 balls, and 4 heads. It works.
I was talking about a similar thing with a musician recently, and he was saying, all these great people never went to college. I mean, if you look at a lot of the people from the 60s, they're all self-taught. And going to a hoity-toity school doesn't mean that you will, be big or good or whatever. It's you.
Yeah, definitely.
And putting the time into it and the commitment.
Yeah, I would say that it really doesn't matter what school anybody goes to. I mean, for certain things, like if I wanted to be a politician, I would probably want to go to Yale Law School. That's probably what I would do. But I have enough skeletons in my closet. I probably shouldn't be a politician. I'd probably be asking to get ripped apart. I'm always reminded by the world's greatest geniuses. Stephen Hawking had mediocre grades when he was growing up, and that's a fact. Einstein,
exactly.
Had horrible grades. John Lennon almost got kicked out of school for being disruptive. George Harrison dropped out of school at 14. It's like there's all these great geniuses who everybody aspires to be, and if people want to go get a higher education, I wish I had, frankly. I wish I'd gone to school. I didn't, and I got to learn through experience, but I don't view it as like college sucks and go out and experience it. I don't think that that's the way, and I don't think it's experience sucks, college rules. I think what happens is there's a learning process that happens at that certain age that people go to college, 18 to 22 or whatever. and they they go through experience. They experience things, and while their minds are open to new experiences, they pack in a bunch of knowledge. And we've done the same exact thing, just in a different venue that doesn't offer accreditation. Like we went out and learned, like essentially being a band, an independent band, is being a mobile clothing store, and our advertisement is us on stage. So we learn how to form business plans. We learn how to budget. We learn how to, order merchandise and take inventory and throw away unsaleable goods and sell saleable goods. And we learn how to promote. We learn PR. We learn communications. We're doing everything. We book our tours. We arrange promotion. We're doing radio interviews. We're doing television interviews. We're clienteling with our fans and everybody. It's just you learn everything. Like we have basically street level business degrees.
Well, that's actually the real life of a musician. It's not just making the music. Nowadays, you make your money off of selling merchandise and live acts. I mean, it's not the downloading the 99 cents iTunes songs.
No, definitely not. Although frankly, I'm not a great, I could say, everybody needs to download music. I don't download albums. I download a single song. And what's the last song I downloaded? The last song I downloaded was called "It Could Have Been Me" by a band called The Struts, and they're fantastic.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Mike, for talking with me. I really enjoyed it.
You're listening to Rock at Night.
Thanks for the intro melody. It's called "Get On Down" by Billy Bass Alford. Thanks.